Good evening there. Today I want to share the art of writing poetry with you. And as a starting point, I would like to say that I think and I believe that any one of us can be a poet in our own way, not a poet of a great standing or aiming to become a poet of a great stature, but just to be able to express our thoughts and feelings in a manner, which is in a form which is rhythmic, which flows, wherein your thoughts and feelings are bound together into a meaningful and expressive manner. The most important ingredient is your experience, your feelings and your thoughts and your ideas, which make the basis, the foundation of your poem. And of course, all of us carry so many thoughts and ideas in our minds all the time. All we need to do is just sit down on the computer or with a pen and pencil in your hand and jot down your ideas just as they emerge in your mind. Of course, in order to write a good poem, you need to have a sound knowledge of the poetic devices, the figures of speech, and you need to have a good hold on poetic diction, which of course come with some understanding and some knowledge of poems and of the skill of writing poetry. But even for an amateur, a person who's just who just wants to express his or her feelings about anything, it could be the death of a pet, or it could be the excitement of bringing a new pet home, anything, or about getting a new gift. So we can encourage our children, we can encourage our students to think deeply, to focus on a particular subject which interests them, which they've been thinking about over some period of time, and to sit down, try to put their thoughts together, try to make a word bank, think of the words that they would like to use to express their ideas, and use, just jot down some rhyming words and some other poetic devices like similes and metaphors and other more sophisticated techniques, and to just sit down and start writing. And the words will just flow, the words will just come to your mind, and gradually one may end up writing a very fine poem. And of course, there are different forms of poems and different kinds of poems. It could be a sonnet, it could be a lyric, it could be a narrative poem, It could be, and one doesn't really need to use rhyme all the time. It can just be free verse, and one can just express one's ideas and emotions around a situation or around a particular experience as and when they emerged in the mind. As a starter, I would like to share one poem with you, which during my experience as a teacher a couple of years back, I went through. So it was a time when I lost a set of test papers that belonged to the students. It didn't happen due to any fault of mine. It was completely accidental. But it becomes a moment of great, it's a big test for you as to how to face your students and how to tell them that you've lost a set of papers that belong to them. So it became a moral obligation, I would not like to stand there and lie to my students that, I had to tell them that that, well, I lost your set of papers, but I'm trying to find it. At the same time, I cannot promise, I cannot assure you that I will find it. But all that we can do is that we can get ready for a retest, to which they were all very, very positively responsive, and they were really sweet, and they agreed to have a retest. So here's the poem that just flowed out of that experience. It's titled, The Dreaded Day. The dreaded day came, the school resumed, after the short spring break, the much-needed respite. And there they were, my 7th graders, eyeing me expectantly, grinning at me sheepishly, a look of question in their eyes, a glimpse of doubt and fear. More than that, there was a feel of distrust in not being there with me, or so I felt, having lost what was duly theirs, even though through no fault of mine. A day passed, and then too, no longer could I face their faces that glared at me, asking a multitude of questions. I could not frame a lie. I could not let them down. I could not let them feel disowned by their new teacher who so cared for them. So gathering all my grit and taking a final decision, out poured the words from my mouth, claiming the sad truth, accepting the unwanted loss incurred by me. The innocent gleaming eyes that brimmed with devotion and a bit of trepidation looked through me adorably, giving me their heart and confidence. Yes, miss, so what if our test papers got lost? We will take a retest. My heart missed out a beat as I thought how their minds were so neat. They gave out a neat solution with the least reservation. God seemed to be showering upon them his love and grace. They handed in their forgiveness into my lap, having the blessing of the guardian angel without a doubt in trace. So here was a poem that just emerged from my experience, a thought that had been affecting my mind quite deeply, because I felt concerned for my students, that I owed them their, I owed something to them. So the thought lingered on in my mind, and of course it's not that everyone may be able to do the same. I mean, everyone doesn't have the flow for writing poetry, but it's not a difficult task. One can just try and explore the boundaries.